running in his first race of this year at age 60. He won in 1976 when in a Dodge, and we'll keep an eye on him in this race. Let's get out of Steve Burns. Steve?
Thanks, Chris. On the most recent round of green flag pit stops, Jeff Gordon came in. They took on 4 tires, went down another turn on the track bar. Meanwhile, Mike Skinner, they had problems. 3 lug nuts fell off the right rear tire, or off the wheel rather. They had to go back, tighten them up, and send Mike back out. So he lost valuable positions here on pit road. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
Joe Nemechek's air conditioning system has just quit, and he has said it is hot as swell downstairs in that car, and they're very unhappy with it, but not as unhappy as the pole sitter, Stacy Compton. They did pull the right front shock off the car on that long pit stop. They didn't put another right front shock on it because the mount is broken, and the car is just porpoising out there. He's having a tough time. Jeannie.
Well, Dick, we're worrying about trouble on the track. How about on pit road? Matt Kenseth, rear tire carrier Brian Dunaway actually caught his foot on the hose as he was coming over the wall. Now, fortunately, Matt had already pulled the car into the pit stop, and he was able to get up and finish his duty. Just a twisted left ankle. As you can see, he's back to work. Matt?
We told you earlier about Mark Martin's loose condition. They did make a chassis adjustment on the previous stop. No adjustments on his last stop. He was very happy with his race car. His teammate, rookie Kurt Busch, a problem-free pit stop. No adjustments, just 4 tires and fuels. Guys.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads this train around Talladega. Rusty Wallace, who, if memory serves me, has never won a restrictor plate race.
Finished third at Daytona back in February.
Yep.
Junior was second. Michael was first. Michael's falling back a little bit. Kind of funny how the guys that seem to be really good at Daytona are ending up back at the front here at Talladega.
Bobby Hamilton third, Mark Martin fourth. Bobby Labonte, the Winston Cup champ, has fought his way up into the top 5. Jeff Gordon sixth. Robert Presley, Buckshot Jones, Jeff Purvis, and Dave Blaney are the top 10. And Larry, what's happened to Tail End Charlie?
Well, I've been sitting here studying a little bit. We got 112 laps on the board. I think it's time to change the schedule, DW. He has moved up to 17th. The time has come to go.
Yeah, I think it's a little early. He did that at Daytona. Him and Bobby Labonte and some of them that were riding in the back, they made a move to go with about 40 laps. I believe I'd have waited just a little bit longer.
He's got his teammate right in front of him there, Ricky Rudd, in the 28 car, though. They got that inside line trying to move.
Well, what happens to you is your crew chief and your team is also, man, Keith, why don't you get up there and lead a while? Safer in the front. So the problem he's got to go by all these guys because he was in the back. Maybe he and Ricky can get up there and get the lead together.
Next week, Darrell, we go to another big speedway, but a very different speedway than Talladega out in California.
Yeah, it's a little flatter. It's a 2-mile racetrack. It's a beautiful facility. I love going there. It's one of my favorite tracks. Speeds will be high there, probably over 200 miles an hour down the straightaway without any problem. Should be some great racing.
There's definitely some teams that have tested out there that has shown straightaway speeds of over 200 miles an hour.
Riding with Jeff Gordon as Robert Presley and Buckshot Jones full pass.
Boy, I'm proud of the 44 car, Buckshot Jones. Look at Jeff Purvis hitting a 51. He wants to go by him there, but Buckshot Jones, these guys not had a good season at all. Best finish of 19th at Atlanta. Come here, qualified 29th. He has 4 DNFs this year, so this could get this season turned around.
Darrell, some of those abrupt moves is Jeff Purvis making you a little nervous.
Well, Purvis makes you nervous, yeah. You don't need to be doing that, but it's kind of like Larry said. I think right now you're starting to hear from your crew and your spotter saying, okay, bud, we need to get ourselves in position here now. Let's don't give up any more spots. Let's start taking places. And when that happens and you get a little impatient, guys are getting tired, mentally tired right now. Cars are moving around a little bit. Got to be careful.
What they got to do also, they got to start setting themselves up for that last pit stop here, probably in about 35 or 40 laps. Probably 2 tires to get them to the end.
Boy, things change. We started with 3 Dodges in the front 3 spots, and now the only Dodge in the top 10 is Jason Leffler. It's a Chevy up front, then Rusty Wallace, Bobby Hamilton, Mark Martin, and Robert Presley. That Chevy is this one that you're riding on board. The Bud Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt Jr. 115 laps complete at Talladega. And pulling these lead cars around the outside of the racetrack and leaving the bottom open. And look who's there, Marlin, Jarrett, and Rudd.
Well, you know, we've seen guys go up on the outside, get the lead, and then immediately fall the inside. And I think what Junior's doing is kind of the best of both worlds. He's running the outside a little while, then he'll move out. See, he's coming off a little high there. He's got Rusty right with him. That's what you got to be able to do, though. You got to play this game. Where's everybody going? That's where you want to go.
Does the car run freer, higher up the racetrack?
Yeah, you're not turning the steering wheel near as hard to the left. You're not binding it up, as we like to say. It'll run faster if you can get it up there and keep it wound up.
Now, clear.
Dale Earnhardt, all-time winner at Talladega with 10 Winston Cup victories. Buddy Baker, Bobby Allison, and Darrell Waltrip, 4 apiece. Earnhardt Jr. looking for his first win of the season.
The whole key to success here is the fast car. I mean, every time that you come here and you got a fast car, you think this place is easy.
Boy, talking about 2 fast cars. Look at Sterling Marlin in that 40. Dale Jarrett in that 88 working that bottom side.
Well, you heard Todd Parrott say that it took them about 10 laps to go from the back to the front. I think they're testing that theory right now.
Boy, it don't look like 33 degree of banking from this angle.
No,
looks like the side of a building when you stand at the bottom of it.
Looks fairly flat. Doesn't look like 190 miles an hour either. That's the thing that's so deceiving. This place is so big, so wide, and fairly easy to drive that it's very deceiving how fast you're going, how high those banks are, how difficult this really is.
From first to 29th, just 2.2 seconds separate that group.
And we're 121 laps into this race. Well over halfway.
Unreal. And thus far, caution-free.
And you wonder how. Yes. When they're all that close together in a pack like they are, and you wonder how they cannot have something happen.
Now, there's the first pack. As we mentioned, 29 cars are in that first pack. And then that group comes all single file.
But let me tell you, that group was way, way, way. I thought they were out of the picture. I've been watching them, and they are closing up at about a second and almost a second a lap.
But that's a good pack of cars. Almost all of those cars have led today. You got Jerry Nadeau, you got Mike Skinner here in the 31 car. Look at Ron Hornaday in the 14 car was up front earlier. This is a good pack of race cars.
Larry, there's as many cars have led today as haven't. Half the field has led this race.
Wow, that says a lot about the competition of NASCAR Winston Cup racing.
And there's Todd Bodine right back there in that 66 car, who led earlier, but made the mental error of going below the yellow line, and now he's a lap down.
Like Jeremy Mayfield as well in the 12 car.
And Casey Atwood's up in that crowd somewhere, did the same thing.
This pack right here, I think the spotters have gotten together and they said, look, guys, we're not doing anything. About the time I say that, Mike Skinner pulls out a line, but you guys are not gaining if you're going to run side by side.
Well, he can pull out a line now because they've about caught him.
There's that second pack, and there's the interval to the leader, Jerry Nadeau, and you see that number growing a little smaller as they run single file.
They're there
now. And that's pretty amazing because I tell you, I watched those guys and said, boy, there's some really good cars that are out of the race. And lo and behold, they're right back up there.
And all of that's because of that aero package. Those cars up there dirtying up there, poking a big hole in there, let them run right back to them.
Got a big old boat making a wake in the water.
And now it's a 42-car draft once again. The only car out of the race, pole sitter Stacy Compton, with that broken shock absorber mount, has taken his car to the garage. Dick Berggren?
Oh, Stacy Compton behind the wall, and it's more than the broken shock mount. They're working on the motor, working on the fuel vet back here. What's going on, Stacy?
Well, I tell you what, when it rains and pours, I hate it for the guys with Kodiak, Mellon, Dodge. Had a good car all day. You know, we figured out what we could do at the beginning. We led a few laps and decided to do like a lot of other guys, go to the back and ride around. And, you know, when we needed to go, we could go. And we broke a shock there right before that pit stop. Was hoping for a caution. Come in, I sit in the pits, and with it idling, I'm not sure whether we burned a piston or may have broke a valve spring. I'm not sure what, but we got more problems than just shocks right now.
What's the traffic like out there today?
Listen, I mean, the guys are pretty much using their head right now. There's a lot of guys riding around in the back waiting for that last 50 laps, and I think the last 50 laps is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, we think so, too.
This lap was pretty interesting because they were 4 wide at the fix stand.
Careful not to get below that yellow line.
Yes. You won't see a rush hour like this anywhere. Thank goodness. Dale Earnhardt Jr. hauls them around the Talladega Superspeedway in the Talladega 500 presented by Subway on Fox.
Subway on Fox is brought to you by Subway, showing the world how great a fresh sandwich can taste. Subway, eat fresh.
Fox welcomes you back to Talladega Speedway. According to legend, Talladega stands on an old Native American burial ground. And one year, Bobby Isaac in 1974 leading the race, but pulled over and walked away after he said he heard voices in his head that told him to get out. Right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is your leader. Chevy has won the last 4 races here at Talladega. And we had a terrific Busch race yesterday that rearranged the points. Kevin Harvick was your leader, but Jeff Hammond, Greg Biffle is now.
Greg Biffle, last year's truck champion, in front in that Rouse Racing Ford of his. And then also Jeff Green has closed back up, last year's defending.
You mentioned the Truck Series, the Sears Craftsman Truck Series results after 4 of 24 races. The point standing, Scott Riggs leading Joe Ruttman.
Joe Ruttman, the Wally veteran, driving Bobby Hamilton, and young Ricky Hendrick, Rick Hendrick's son, driving his first Craftsman Truck Series this year, running 3rd.
All right, it's worth pointing out we've had a Talladega record here in our Winston Cup race. 21 different leaders. So far, 27 lead changes.
Still single file, 4 back.
So far, absolutely no mishaps, no caution flags. That has happened once before in the history of this race.
One thing I'd like to add here, watching this race today reminds me kind of like putting a bucket of water on the top of a stove. You turn on the burner, and slowly but surely she starts to boil. This is the way I think this race is heading. She's getting ready to get hot and very testy.
And when Dale Earnhardt Jr. took over with 92 laps to go, the fans here, there was a roar of applause. They were up and cheering him on. Let's check out Steve Burns. Steve?
Well, guys, they're talking about strategy, when they're going to come. If it stays green, they'll need just one more pit stop. Crew chief on the 55, Jimmy Ellis, down talking to Tony Uri, the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr. They've made an agreement. They want to come between laps 149 and 152. And in fact, it's a handshake agreement. So it looks like a done deal.
More deals being made. Teammates up and down pit road.
Tony, you're just telling me, take a number. I'll get to you when I can. But this is the thing. Most places we go, if you can outwit somebody by changing 2 tires versus changing 4, it's an advantage. Here, if you don't get people on sync together, pitting at the same time, doing the same work on the race car, you're going to end up in trouble. You'll be by yourself.
Well, you know, I kind of agree, and think about this, Larry. I mean, think about Dale Earnhardt. He came out way back last year. I don't know. With this aero package coming out a little behind ain't a bad thing, really.
We've seen that all day.
I think I'd get my 4 tires.
Daryl, one thing starting to worry me is we just saw Buckshot Jones go into that corner and almost slide up into Kurt Busch. Drivers are going into the corner in the middle lane and they're sliding way up the racetrack. Well, I don't so much mind them running 4 wide, but when they don't hold their lane, I'm starting to get nervous.
Yeah, well, that's tire wear, track conditions. You know, the track gets slicker as these cars run, and the cars will change quite a bit.
57 laps to go. Caution-free thus far. At least 1 pit stop to go. And it's getting awful racy here in Talladega. We'll be right back. Trial with the lead, and as we were saying, he slid a bit, slid up high, and paid the price.
Oh, yeah, he went from the lead just 1 lap ago back to about 10th or 15th just that quickly. That's what I say, things happen so fast here.
There he is in 13th place, paddling side by side with Jeff Burton.
Fighting for 13th.
Yeah, trying to hold it.
And comfortably leading just before the pass.
Now they're working their way up the outside alongside Robert Presley and Bobby Hamilton.
Whoa, man. There,
still 3 wide, still 3.
On board the subway cam with Jeff Purvis. And once again, let's give you a chance to enjoy all this horsepower and all this speed and fury of Talladega. The pictures will tell a story while you crank it up.